The Flemish Safe Online Initiative started 15 years ago because at the time the first social media platforms and chat rooms were starting to be used very much by youngsters, and parents had a lot of questions about how they could cope with this, with their children being online in their family. So that's why we started the trainings in the first place, to really support parents in how they could cope with these digital media in their family. The first training we organized was just one training at 5 different locations in Flanders, addressing a few of the topics that were parents had a lot of questions about back then. For instance, chat rooms and the use of a webcam. Throughout the years, we have expanded our topics because digital media has become a part of our daily life and also part of the daily life of children and teenagers. So at the time now we have 5 different topics. We have 5 different training modules. The first one is about social media. Then we have one about internet and privacy. The third one is about gaming. The fourth is about cyberbullying. And then the final one is about online relationships and sexuality. Throughout the years, we expanded our topics because we noticed that in one training we couldn't address all the questions that parents had around the social media use of their children. So we expanded our topics by taking into account the needs of parents. For instance, there were a lot of questions about cyberbullying and gaming, so we decided to create a different or a separate training around these topics. And the same happened for privacy and online sexuality. So we really looked at the needs of parents, the questions they asked us in the different trainings, and taking into account all these different inputs from parents and also from research that has been ongoing in Flanders, we came to these 5 different topics. We developed these 5 different training modules I think now 5 years ago, because we wanted to extend our training offer also to vulnerable parents. And the methodologies and the things that we came up with were very suitable for all types of parents. So that's why we chose to work with these new training models for all parents. And we keep them updated every year so that the needs of parents are being met all the time. And we can also incorporate new research from Flanders or Europe. And our 5 training modules really focus on parents with children in between 8 and 16. But nowadays, also younger children are being online more and more, starting from ages 2.5. So that's why we are also now developing a new training module in Flanders for parents of toddlers, so we can address the different questions that parents with toddlers have regarding their children also being online or watching screens, playing on a tablet, etc. We find it very important that the trainings are interactive, so that parents can really exchange their experiences, learn from each other, how other parents cope with digital media in their family. So in every training module, we have a few different parts that always come back. So for instance, we have something interactive like a quiz. We also have a lot of testimonials from children, from teenagers, from parents, and from experts. And we also always end with 10 parenting tips for that specific topic. The first training module, social media, goes deeper into the different social media that children use, and also different questions that parents have around them. Like, for instance, what if my child that is still very, very young wants to go on TikTok? Or why is my child chatting with other people all the time, and how can I cope with this as a parent? The second training, Internet and Privacy, really focuses on the privacy aspect. How do children and teenagers try to protect their privacy? Is that something that they really think about? How can you use a password to protect your privacy? Can you maybe think about tagging people online, etc.? So it's really focused on the privacy aspect of social media. One of the challenges that we face when updating our modules is choosing which new social media platforms that are being launched that we want to incorporate in our trainings, because sometimes a new platform can become very popular, but sometimes a platform can be used but also diminish quite fast over time. For instance, when the Pokemon Go app was launched, we were doubting to include this in our trainings or not, because at one time it was very popular, but now some people use it, but it's not that popular with teenagers anymore. So that's always a challenge, choosing which social media platforms or new trends to incorporate. When choosing which trends and new information to incorporate in our yearly updates, we like to consult our trainers, because they're the ones that are in contact with a lot of parents. And we also like to consult experts that are in the field of media parenting, media education, and media literacy. For other organizations who would also like to develop a safe online training, I want to give 3 tips. The first one is to really incorporate the needs of parents. You can do this by organizing focus groups or by organizing a survey for parents. The second tip would be to also consult experts from different organizations. For instance, experts in the media literacy and media education field, or experts from parents associations or from prevention centers. The third tip would be to also make sure that you stay on top of the recent evolutions by checking recent research and literature regarding media education.